Rosie, I'm going to make you a duck tagine. It will be delicious. Your chickpea was delicious, but this is going to take it to another level because I'm adding one of my favourite meats, duck. Now, when we start with duck, we've got to season it up. Lots of salt and pepper. Salt loves meat, meat loves salt, and because it's a duck, doesn't mean it misses out on salt as well. So what I'm going to do is put plenty of salt and pepper on the outside of it. I've got a pan there nice and hot already. And I put the duck down in it. This is a great non-stick pan, so I'll just pop it straight into the pan. Needed. No olive oil needed. You can put some in there if you want, but I know that the duck skin is going to render down really quickly, and that'll get the frying action happening. Now, I'm going to put some salt on the duck there as well, on the meat side of it. And what we're going to do is render it down, get it nicely seared on the skin side, turn it over, seal it off, and then we'll be able to put it into our tagine. Now, what I'm going to get you doing is I've got some ginger here, some fresh turmeric, some orange and some lemon. I want you to zest it all or microplane it all so it's nice and fine. And then I've got some preserved lemon over there. I've taken the pith out of it, and I want you to chop that nice and fine. And while you're doing that, I'm going to grab my onion here and I'm going to dice it up. So I'm going to start off with a few onions and things for a base, just to get it all going.
Lovely.
And you can see once you start microplaning the ginger, you really get that smell, don't you?
Very fragrant. Of course, that is Moroccan. They are known for their flavours. But also, the smaller we get it, the more activated it is, especially with that turmeric as well, which is lovely anti-inflammatory. I love it.
Now, I've got some celery here, 2 carrots that are cut up already, some celery that I'm going to dice up nice and sort of chunky style. Leaving it chunky like this, it'll stay nice and firm and I'll be able to pick it up with a fork at the end. Now, my pan's really hot. You can hear that sizzle. In goes my onion, my celery and carrot, which is the start of so many great dishes. It doesn't matter what part of the world you come from, that's a good start to any dish, isn't it? Exactly. A couple of bay leaves go in there. And I've also got over here, I'll just grab them on my plate here. I've got a cinnamon quill here. You use the dried cinnamon, the powdered cinnamon. I've got a cinnamon quill, in that goes. I've also got some cardamom pods here. When they hit the oil, they sort of fry and they pop open. They give it a really, really nice flavour. Now, while that's cooking, I also like to add a little bit of salt and some pepper in there because we want to add flavour as we're going along. Now, with my dry spices, I like to sweat them off. So, as I said before, I've got the ginger here, about a tablespoon of dried ginger that's been ground. That goes straight in. I've got some paprika, about a tablespoon of that as well. And I've also got some cumin here that's been toasted and ground, and that gives it a lovely flavour.
One of my faves.
Look at you, just grating away.
Don't worry about me.
There we go. Now, what I do... Sweat that off very, very gently in the oil, and that's how you start to get the aromats out of it. Now, what I've got here is some saffron, and I've got quite a bit of it. What I'm going to do is add the saffron to the dish so it fries off nicely. And what I do is I break it up a little bit so it goes all the way through it. I've used quite a lot of saffron in there, which is lovely. I love using plenty of saffron. It's an expensive spice, but I reckon it's lovely when you put it in there.
Special one.
Now, what I'm going to do is grab the turmeric, the garlic and the ginger with my knife.
Goodness.
Yep, grab it over there like that.
Imagine putting that on a smoothie. You'd blow your head off, wouldn't it?
It would be way too big. It'd be like a big, big smoothie that would hurt you a lot. Now, what I'll do is stir that around. And now, when I add that, you can really smell all those spices in there. Can't you smell it? It's gorgeous.
Oh, it is divine. That is really divine.
Now, all you do is sweat that off for a couple of minutes and wait for the duck to simmer till it's nice and golden. Pop it straight in. In it goes. And what I'll do is I'll turn this over here so you can see that my duck's cooking up nicely. I'll turn it over there for a couple more minutes so it's got a little bit more colour, and then we'll be able to add everything to it and finish it off. Now, Rosie, you can see that's sweated down beautifully. I'm going to add some chopped parsley, some chopped coriander and some preserved lemon. And what I've done is chop it up. Have a little taste of that. I've just taken the centre part out of it, or where the lemon is, and I've just... Ooh. Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, it's got a big, strong flavour, that's for sure.
Now, I'm also going to add some stock, chicken stock, duck stock, lamb stock, whatever stock you want, and I'll add a nice amount of stock to that. Now, this is going to cook for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, so I want to make sure it's got enough liquid in there, because it will evaporate just a little bit. I'll also add some tomato passata, about 600-700 mils of passata go in there.
Richen it up a bit.
Ah, it looks good. It's looking great already. You can see that turmeric's really coloured it up. Now I'm just going to add some lemon juice, some orange juice. You can squeeze that in for me.
All right,
some lemon juice straight in there. I like the zing of fresh lemon juice in the tagine. What I'm going to do is pop the duck in and around the pot here so it cooks nice and evenly. And this will simmer away for about 2 hours, as I said before, so it all comes together. Now, pass me those olives and the chickpeas, and the duck fat is not going to go to waste. I'm going to pour that straight over the top. You'll see at the end, it'll have this lovely red golden oil that sits on the top. That'll be the beautiful duck flavour. Now, I've got some olives here. I've made sure they're all pitted. Some black Kalamata olives and also some chickpeas. About 1.5 cups of cooked chickpeas. And you can see I've got the liquid from the chickpeas as well. I'll just throw that in there. Now, all you need to do is just give that a bit of a stir around like that. Let it come up to a simmer. Put the lid on and let it cook for about 1.5 hours. Then all you need to do is test the duck when it's nice and tender, it's ready to go. Just turn it off and let it sit for a little bit. Cook some couscous and then you'll be able to add a beautiful duck tagine. Smells great, doesn't it?
Look at that colour.
It's
Wow.
reduced down beautifully and it looks great. And I know, because the duck's nice and tender, that it's ready to go. Now, what I'm going to do is grab this little plate here. I'm going to pop a duck straight up here so you can see that leg there, lots of meat on the duck. There we go, a little bit of chickpeas, some of the carrots. I'll pop that on top there like that. Always have a tea towel handy to make sure that you can clean it down and make sure it's nice and tasty. There we go. Clean down that splash there like that.
Cooking isn't always pretty.
You got to live a bit of love. But I also have some of this, which is some herbs on the side there. Some parsley, some mint, some coriander, salt and pepper, lemon juice and some sumac, which is a Middle Eastern spice.
Yeah.
Now, that looks delicious like that. But, Rosie, I'm going to tuck into that one.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to miss out on anything. So what I've done is a tagine with eggplant. I'll just reach across you there.
With eggplant.
I know, I've got some eggplant, so it's exactly what I've done, the same ingredients. I've just added a little bit of eggplant there and some zucchini, and I want you to taste this one. I want you to taste all the spices in there and all the flavour. It doesn't have duck, so I don't want you to feel too disappointed.
It looks great.
Now, what I'll do is I'll just turn that across like that, and you can see the duck just falls off the bone. It's really, really tender. And I want to taste to make sure the duck's picked up all the flavour. Now, tell me, what do you think of the flavour of the tagine? It's really nice, isn't it?
Really good, and you can tell that you've been cooking that for a little while. It has got that lovely richness that's come. I can taste all those spices. Really, really perfect.
I love using duck with this sort of thing. I think it picks up the flavour really well. It braises nice and gently. The meat holds together, but it's still nice and tender. It's the perfect meat for a tagine.
Really warmed me up, this has.